All right, it's August 15th, 5:45 p.m. And we're going to call the Finance Committee meeting to order. Present are council members Lang, Barker, Ottinger, Hauser, and Marmee. First thing is to let you know that the general fund unappropriated balance stands at $207,388. And the budget stabilization fund stands at $966,348. First item on the agenda is a request for appropriation amount of $24,980.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. This we had a police cruiser that was totaled in an accident. So this is the money that we received for that, and we'd like to put that into our vehicle account so we can get a replacement unit.
Motion. Second. Motion by Lang, second by Barker. Any questions and or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of sending this on to full council signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a request for appropriation in the amount of $12,886.
So section 1 and 2 are both in reference to our Justice Reinvestment and Incentive Grant. We have already submitted a budget revision with the Department of Corrections, and they've already. So we would like to move $12,886 from the health insurance line item into the law enforcement supplies line item. That in excess of health insurance because Daniel Butcher changed from single to waiving insurance, and then we had an employee who left who was getting family insurance, and then the one we hired wanted to do double insurance, so that increased that line significantly.
Second. Motion by Lang, second by Barker. Any questions and or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor to send this on to full council signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Next item is request for appropriation of $22,644.
Okay, so what we want to do with this, we want to bring up our scram cam inventory. That's continuous alcohol monitoring, and we would like to also purchase wireless units to go with those. So the benefit to that is right now, if somebody has a scram cam device and they don't have a wireless unit at home, they have to come in and get the information downloaded. So that usually takes a week to obtain. This way we can get it in real time, so we can get the data and we can analyze it and see if somebody's consuming alcohol. So again, the state's already approved this. If we don't do this, it's a significant amount of money. Each unit's about $1,800. So if we don't make this adjustment, we'll have to give the money back to the state. We don't want to do that.
Second. Motion by Lang, second by Barker. Any questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor to send this on to full council signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is a request for appropriation amount of $1,000.
So 3 and 4 have to do with one another. So we had an employee who left, who was our subject control instructor through OPA, which is the Veterans Officer Commission. He left. We have another officer who wants to fill that role. So we want to move $1,000 from overtime into the training account, so we can do that later on in the year in November. If we don't do that, we have to farm that out to another agency. They have to come in and train us, and that typically costs money.
Motion by Lang, second by Barker. It's for the appropriation. Any questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor send this on to full council signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Now we need a disappropriation in the amount of $1,000.
So moved. Second.
Any questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor send this on to full council signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is a request for appropriation amount of $146.
And to go along with all this nice equipment that we purchased, sometimes offenders will damage the equipment when they have to pay it back. So we received some money from the 2 offenders in the amount of $146. So we would like to spend that money back on some.
Second.
Motion by Lang, second by Barker. Questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor send this on to full council signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a request for appropriation in the amount of $13,389.97.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is money that we took out of our account and paid for in part, a Polaris Ranger. And then when we got the funds from Park National Bank, we just wanted to take the funds and replenish the account. We paid out.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Barker. Or excuse me, motion by Lang, second by Barker. Any questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor sending this on to full council signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is a request for appropriation of $10,535.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We buy emulsion here at the city, but we also sell emulsion to other townships and other places in Lincoln County. Then we get paid for that. So we're taking the money that we got paid for and replenishing that account.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Lang, second by Barker. Any questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor to send this on to full council signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Next item on the agenda is a request for appropriation amount of $110,844.
This is for professional design services on the South Second Street project. The total cost of this project is $1,110,844. We appropriated the end here of $1 million because that was the original price we had for the work. We've added some things to that project, so but the loan is approved for that amount of money. So this is just appropriating loan money for us to spend for the design work on the project.
Motion by Lang, second by Barker. Any questions and or comments? Just point of reference for Janine. Janine, I did not see section 8 on the actual legislation, so just make sure that this gets added. Oh, okay, never mind. There's a second one in here. She had both of them, so never mind. All right, any questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, send this on to full council, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. So. Next item on the agenda is an ordinance to provide for the issuance of not to exceed $310,000 of bond anticipated notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purpose of paying a portion of the cost of burial and overhead electric, cable, and telephone lines, including easement acquisition and alley repairs, and all necessary appurtenances thereto, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. Mr. Chairman, would you like me to speak to 22 ordinances 22-24 through 22-30?
That'd be fantastic.
All in one. Okay. Mr. Moorhead and Mr. Loomis have these projects going on, which consist of downtown overhead utility barrel, the Fourth and Main roundabout, road and bridge improvements, so near the bike path, ice rink roof replacement, along with the Tamarack project on 40th Street. So these will all be renewed for a year as these projects are still under construction being done. If they were to go to price today, we'll look at about 3.3%. So that would be in a couple of weeks. The emergency clause is on there due to timing. These payments will be due and they'll need to be renewed so these projects can continue.
Questions?
Are we voting on each one separately?
We will vote on each one separately.
I had a question under ordinance 22-32. You know, when that project will start working, it's not working still.
Well, I
know.
think we're just on this, Mr. Hauser, we're just
Yeah,
going through 30. These are,
30.
Oh,
yeah,
30.
these are just
Yeah.
1 year renewal notes. We'll get to the bonds here. in just a second.
Yeah.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yep.
Any other questions? All right, so first one is ordinance 22-24. Motion by Lang, second by Barker. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, send us on to full council, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. The next one, 22-25, is the ordinance to provide for the issuance of not to exceed $870,000 of bond anticipated notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purpose of paying a portion of the cost of constructing a new Fourth and Main roundabout and all necessary appurtenances thereto, and declare an emergency. Entertain the motion. Motion by Lang, second by Barker. Any questions and or comments? I do have one comment. I don't know. Why is it that the EPA got involved in this roundabout and not the other roundabout? Was there a difference?
Because this is a state project, it's an ODOT project.
That's no, okay,
And ODOT gave us $700,000.
right,
We were hoping when they were coming through there that they could have had us a bid lower than that, but it wasn't, so it's hard to turn down the 700.
Right.
That's a separate ODOT project.
Okay.
Where we did this roundabout.
very good, good to know.
No.
Any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor to send us on to full council, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Next is ordinance 22-26 to provide for the issuance of not to exceed $1.59 million of bond anticipated notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purpose of paying a portion of the cost of road, bridge, and bike path improvements and all necessary appurtenances thereto, and declaring an emergency. Motion by Lang, second by Barker. Questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor send this on to full council, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Next item is ordinance 22-27 to provide for the issuance of not to exceed $820,000 of bond anticipated notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purpose of paying a portion of the cost of the ice rink roof replacement and all necessary appurtenances thereto, and declaring an emergency. Motion by Lang, second by Barker. Yes.
Chair, just noticed the typo in the agenda. Column, it's paid instead of on. For Jenny.
Okay. She'll pick that up. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor send this on to full council, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Next item is an ordinance 22-28 to provide for the issuance of not to exceed $2.55 million of bond anticipated notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purpose of paying the cost of Tamarack 40th Street upgrade, stormwater improvements, and all necessary appurtenances thereto, and declaring an emergency. Motion by Lang, second by Barker. Questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor send this on to full council, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Next item is ordinance 22-29 to provide for the issuance of not to exceed $2.34 million of bond anticipated notes in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purpose of paying the cost of water system improvements and all necessary appurtenances thereto, and declaring an emergency. Motion by Lang, second by Barker. Any questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor send this on full council, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. And the next item is ordinance 22-30, an ordinance consolidating 6 bond anticipated notes, anticipation note issues of the city of Newark, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. Motion by Lang, second by Barker. Any questions and or comments? Yes.
Just to clarify, so this is combining the ones we were just passing.
Correct. Anything further? Seeing none, all those in favor to send us on full council, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Thank you. The next one is an ordinance 22-31, providing for the issuance of not to exceed $3,040,000 Sharon Valley Road Fire Station number 5 refunding bonds series 2022 and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, this is fire station on Sharon Valley Road that has been on a interest-only note. It's renewed for a couple of years with the construction being complete. It's time to put this on a bond. It's my recommendation that we take this with a 25-year bond. If this was to price today, we would be looking at about 3.75% interest. The payment on that, pretty roundabout numbers, about $180,000. The emergency clause, that note is coming due, so that would be paid.
Offer motion.
Motion by Lang, second by Barker. Questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor send this on to full council, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is ordinance 22-32, providing for the issuance of not to exceed $1.66 million Horns Hill Waterworks Road Area Improvement Bonds, Series 2022, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. This would be for a 25-year bond as well, with the experience that our engineering departments had doing roundabouts and pretty much knowing the price of what it does to construct one of these. It was under my advisement that we don't do an interest-only loan to save on the interest and go ahead and put it on bond, because I believe this is inevitably going to happen. It also puts in some extra money for future widening of the road and or land purchases, to improve traffic up there. There's 200 some homes going in there. That's why the emergency clause is needed. Keep this going, improve safety and traffic. Residents up in the north end and businesses.
Motion by Lang, second by Barker. Questions and or comments?
We did interest on the loan. What would the rate on that be, out of curiosity?
Right now, it'd be about the same, about 3.3%. So it's going to save us quite a bit of money by doing this.
Any further? Seeing none, all those in favor send this on to full council signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is 22-33, an ordinance consolidating bond issues of the city of Newark, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. Motion by Barker, second by Lang. And just to clarify, this is just consolidating the most recent ones we just did. So, any further questions and or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor send this on to full council signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a resolution number 22-76, a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor of the city of Newark to prepare and submit applications to the Ohio Department of Public Safety for fiscal year 2023 body worn camera grant fund.
This is the second state opportunity using the ARPA funds that the governor would like to use for body worn camera programs. We were awarded last year, waiting on the arrival of the cameras. And this will allow us another opportunity to expand our existing.
Motion.
Motion by Lang, second by Barker. Questions and or comments? Mr. Lang first.
Yeah, not sure if you can speak to this or maybe the mayor, but so what will the second grant allow us to do in terms of like what's the direction in terms of expanding our program?
That's what I'm waiting on from the division of police. Now, they may choose, they may say, hey, let's buy some more cameras, or they may need some new software. I'm waiting on them to say what it is. There's no match, there's no limit, but just keep in mind, everybody in the state is gonna want to apply for this.
Sure.
So I think once the new cameras come in on the first grant, they'll be able to assess what they need for another year.
And the grant could be used for cameras or support.
And support, yeah, there's some leeway in what you can do, but I mean, people need to know that whatever you get with the grant, okay, when that ends, that support's on you.
Right.
If you go that route, but it's still a good deal because you don't have this opportunity come along very often.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we know the dollar amount that has been submitted for, or what the
No,
top amount? You can get?
There's no ceiling,
Okay.
but that's why I said, you need to be mindful that there'll be a lot of communities in the state applying for it.
Thank you.
Any further questions or comments?
Motion.
We already have.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
30 seconds.
A lot of
Enthusiastic, I
those
guess.
tonight. I mean, we're.
All those in favor, send this on to full council, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. The motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, resolution 22-79, authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service for the city of Newark, Ohio to negotiate and enter into a purchase agreement without competitive bidding with Park National Bank for the lease purchase of 4 vehicles.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Two things. I was in front of this committee well over a year ago and brought the same legislation. except in the body of that other legislation, it said state minimum pricing. We have ordered vehicles off the list, state minimum pricing. We've not yet received them. Then they cancel the order because they can't fill the order. So in the body of this legislation, it doesn't say state minimum, but what it would do is give us the ability to maybe look at some lease return vehicles or some other options locally, and we will look locally for these vehicles. The only other thing I would ask you to consider, it says 4 in there. I could really use a 5th. Our needs have changed in the last year a little bit.
I'll offer a motion.
Motion by Lang, second by Barker.
Now, I'll offer a motion to amend 4 to 5.
Okay, have a motion to amend by Lang and the second by Barker. Any further questions on the amendment? Yes.
I have to abstain. This is in my department. So
Okay.
I don't know if I have to abstain on the amendment, though.
I would probably say yes.
Just to be safe.
Yes, it's better to caution on the side of it. Any further questions? Seeing none, this is all those in favor of amending from 4 to 5 signify by saying yay.
Yeah.
Abstain.
So we have, that passes 4-0 with 1 abstention. And then any further questions on the amendment, on the amended legislation? Yes.
Just wanted to highlight the whereas clause that we're highlighting the unavailability of pickup trucks, or I mean, this is something I think everybody's widely appreciated at this point. It's pretty hard to get pickup trucks.
All right. All those in favor of sending this on to full council signify by saying yay. Yay.
Abstain.
1 abstention. That motion passes 4-0. Thank you. And with that, this finance committee meeting stands adjourned.
I was just saying. Like,
Yeah, that's what it says on there. It says on there, I was actually reading it this time. It's like, yeah.
Bill Public Service Committee meeting to order. Those present, myself, Rath, Harris, Barker, Blind, and Honinger. Up first, resolution number 22-74, a resolution authorizing the director of public service to accept bids and sell certain surplus personal property now owned by the city of Newark, Ohio, and declaring that such property is no longer needed for any municipal purpose and declaring emergency. Mr. Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We are wanting to have another auction at our impound lot. That auction will take place on October 8th. The reason for the emergency clause is because we have to do some advertising to let people know we're selling some vehicles.
Questions from the committee?
Second.
Barker. Moved by Harris. Questions from the audience? None. All those in favor of passing this on council, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That's 5-0. Up next, resolution 22-77, a resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service of the city of Newark, Ohio, to proceed with the steps necessary to designate a portion of alley running west from North Fourth Street in the downtown area as Lewis E. Way.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess maybe 10 years back, there was maybe it's 2005, there was a fire station named after the former mayor. And then council came up with a rule that if something was going to be named after somebody, that we had to bring it through council for the blessing. I sat on council at that time, and I thought it was a good idea. And so we're wanting to recognize Mr. Claggett for some of his things that he did in town, like Food Festival, other festivals that he was involved in. His son made a significant investment in that small portion of the alley, moved his architecture firm there, and we're a community-minded family. And this alley is currently unnamed, so we're not taking somebody else's name off and putting it on. And so I'd ask for your support.
Questions from the committee?
Motion. Second.
Motion Hauser. Question, seconded by Blind. Sorry. Question from the audience? See,
Why?
I'm sorry, please come up to the stage, give your name and address, so we have that on the record.
Rochelle Boland, spent 237 Violet Court. I just can't see a reason for doing this. Frankly, I think it's inappropriate. Thank you.
Mr. Bob.
Thank you. We're really not prepared to speak on this, but what I can say is Mr. Claggett was extremely involved in the real estate community and other parts of our community economically. Like Director Roach said, he ran the Flint Festival for years. He also organized and was the promoter for many, many, many home and garden shows that were put on in our community. It drew thousands of people every year to this event to help other local businesses that are part of the home and garden industry of our community. And he did that extremely well. It had a tremendous economic impact on our community. It actually built community within our city because it brought a lot of people together. It brought businesses together. He was very influential. He was selfless in the time that he gave to numerous organizations, one of which is the Building Association, now known as the Buckeye Valley BIA. I served on that for almost 20 years. And I've known Mr. Claggett since I was a young boy. And I grew up with his sons, Phil Claggett, who owns the business on this alley, and his other sons, Steve and Mitch. All men now who are also giving back to their community in many, many ways. Phil serves on how many committees here for the city of Newark. So I think this is extremely appropriate that we give this consideration and give this man who gave so much to his community, who loved this community, some recognition. Lou Claggett, if I remember right, excuse me, was involved in the naming of, I'm going to go blank, the baseball player. There's a sign as you come in, Woody English. Woody English, Lou led that campaign, that drive to have Woody English recognized. So I would love to see this committee forward this to council to have this happen. I think he's very deserving. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of passing this on to council, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That'll pass with a vote of 5-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Bauer, for your words. Up next, resolution number 22-78, resolution authorizing directing the Director of Public Service to negotiate and enter into contract without competitive bidding for the purchase of breathing apparatus equipment and RIT packs within the division of fire and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The air packs, some of the air packs for the fire department are about to expire. They have a certification date on. So we need to replace those units. We're asking to do this to waive competitive bidding because we need the new units to be compatible with the ones that we have in service. There's a compatibility issue. We're asking also for the emergency clause because the manufacturers told us it's going to be a 4 to 6 month waiting period for those units to come in. So we're going to be running up against the expiration of the ones we have that we currently have in stock.
What is an RIT pack?
It's a rescue pack. So it's basically a spare air. So if they go in to a fire scene, someone's air doesn't work, they can pass this on to them. Or if you're trapped in a building, they can provide you with that air pack.
Any questions from the committee?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Parker. Seconded by Harris. Any questions from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of passing this on to council, signify with aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Passes on the 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That concludes service committee. Up next will be personnel.
Jeff, you want to stick around for personnel?
Sure.
Yeah, got the code up here.
You said it felt good.
That was Ben.
Fall out outside.
Yeah, we got plenty of time walking outside. All right, I'm going to call this meeting of the Personnel Committee to order. Those present are myself, Lang, Brian, Barker, Heidinger, and Mr. Rathen for Mr. Labutus. Just one item on the agenda tonight. Got ordinance 22-34, an ordinance abolishing the division of traffic control within the Department of Public Service, abolishing the division of traffic control positions of 3 traffic technicians and 1 traffic/street worker, creating 2 equipment operator positions in the Department of Public Service Street Maintenance Division, reclassifying and amending the pay range of position authorization tables of the Street Maintenance Division to absorb the remaining division of traffic control positions. Mr. Spurgeon.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. This is a realignment strategy. We have combined the divisions of street and traffic in 1 street division. Now we'd like to do that for those positions. This was done with the engagement of our business partners in the bargaining unit, the ASME local, certainly a lot of help our law director and Trish. I appreciate that. And we've been working on this for some time now. The director's been clear. He said, Bill, I don't want anybody to go backwards in this, if you will, according to pay and seniority. We've done that. We have 3 assets that were dedicated to be technicians only. We'd like them to be equipment operators. We have 1 asset that was a hybrid that'll be solely equipment operators. So again, paving, patching, beautification, snow removal, those types of things. The administration will be able to prioritize those activities. Certainly encourage your support.
Thank you. That'll entertain a motion. Thank you, Mr. Barker.
Second.
Second, motion by Barker, second by Heidinger. Any discussions or questions from the committee? Just one question from me. Just would like to confirm net impact on the budget with this.
So thank you, Mr. Chair, for your question. At first, we're going to have initial impact. It's going to cost $1373 annually. But our director believes, and I agree, that the significant savings come overtime season. We'll be able to more, again, effectively, efficiently get assets coming to do the work they're prioritizing. I mentioned some of those, but something changing a bulb, changing a battery, resetting the switch. Those are things that we can more effectively do now in this new endeavor. We have to come back in a year, and I believe we'll show you some savings.
Thank you, Mr. Spurgeon. I appreciate that. All right. Any other questions from the committee or the audience? All right. We've got a motion to send on to council. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That passes 5-0, and that will conclude the committees for this evening. Full
Thank you,
council.
Mr. Chair.
Full